Hi Year 4 and welcome to today's reading lesson. It is picture predictions and it's a development of inference and deduction skills through imagery. So our learning objective is to make inferences and predictions based on the evidence provided. Our success criteria is I can explain what prediction is, I can make inferences based on evidence, I can make a reasonable prediction supporting my ideas with evidence from the text. So here is today's picture. I want you to pause and consider what you can see. Look carefully in the picture. Right, so I don't want to give too much away, but if I look here, I can certainly see that there is an axe against a tree stump. That would indicate that there's some kind of person who's been working in the woods chopping down the trees. If I look at, there's also a girl in a red coat. She seems a little bit out of place in a woodland area that looks like this. Her head's slightly down, so it looks as though she might not wish to be there. Wondering who this girl might be. If I look at the trees do not look particularly nice. This is not a pretty woods. It's rather dark and gloomy. You can sort of see in the background too, this appears to be a fire that's burning. So there's other people around, but she nevertheless seems all alone. And if you look at the trees themselves, you can see that the different gnarled branches and knots within the trees create images themselves. So there's one that looks like a thumb, for example. There's others that look like faces of different animals. It's quite creepy, to say the least. I want you to think about now what you might hear if you were in the woods. So pause now and think. Right, for me, general silence would be one of the things that pops into my head that I could hear within the woods, because that would give that creepy kind of edge to it. I would also think I would hear the crackling of the fire burning away in the background. You might hear the odd animal moving around as well, or you might hear somebody walking in the distance, or you might hear the girl's footprints as she's walking on the ground if there's twigs and other things there. But silence for me would probably be the main thing. It would make all other smaller sounds sound really large. What do you consider now who this girl is, why is she there, and what on earth is she doing there? So pause now and have a think about that. Right, well, for me, she's got a red coat, so the instant thing that comes to my head is Little Red Riding Hood, okay? But she's not carrying a basket or anything like that. Um, why is she there? Well, she's either got lost or she's on her way somewhere because she's got no choice. So it might be grandma's house or wherever it is. She's definitely walking through the woods, but I don't think she's particularly comfortable about being there. So what do you think she's thinking? So this is our next question. Pause now and think about your answers to this question. Um, I think she's quite scared, to be honest. I think she's thinking, I have to go on and I have to keep going, because she's certainly not pausing. She doesn't seem to be being distracted by anything in the woods. She's facing forwards, her head slightly down, and she's walking, or at least walking with purpose. So whatever she is thinking, she's thinking that she has to do it, because it's not the sort of place that you would go if you could avoid it. How is she feeling? Well, I've kind of covered this already. So pause now and think about your answers to this question. How's she feeling? For me, nervous, a little bit scared, a little bit apprehensive. She doesn't really want to be there. And the thing that gives that away for me is the look on her face, the fact that she's staring downwards towards the floor. She's trying to avoid everything else, or appears to be trying to avoid everything else that is surrounding her. So where might she be going? Pause now and think about your answer to that question. Right. Where she might be going will depend on where it is, also the reason why she's actually there. Now, for me, she's obviously going somewhere because she's walking with purpose. I think personally, she's either trying to get home or she's trying to get to another relative's house. She could be trying to escape, but if you were escaping, you would be running, and she's certainly not running. She's definitely walking, and it's her arms that give that away. So, what do you think's already happened in this story? Pause now and think about your answer. Right. Well, for me, she has certainly ended up in the woods somehow. That's obvious because she's there. she's not dressed as if she's going for a walk in the woods. So it indicates to me that she has been going somewhere and has taken the wrong path or has got lost somewhere, because she's wearing sort of school type sort of shoes. Well, if you're going to go for a walk in the woods, you might wear something that was a little bit more sturdy than what she's wearing there. She certainly doesn't seem dressed for a random walk in the woods. So I think that she's been going somewhere and she's had to take a detour and she's ended up getting lost. She's ended up in the woods and now she's trying to find her way home or trying to find a different way to Grandma's house. Or maybe she's avoiding somebody. So what might happen next? Pause now and think about your answer to this question. Well, I personally think that she's going to meet whoever owns that particular axe. Okay, so the lumberjack that owns the axe, or the woodman or woodwoman that owns that axe, I think she's going to meet them at some point. Okay, they might save her maybe from some wild animal that happens to be living in the woods, and might help her to get home or get to Grandma's house or whoever's house that happens to be. So your main task today: complete the observe, infer, wonder, and predict sheet. Write it in the boxes. Each section has some notes to help you consider what you might write about. The boxes should be completed in reference to the picture in the middle of the sheet. Remember to look very carefully. There's a large number of clues linked to things that you will have knowledge of. Send your completed sheet via Seesaw Class Dojo. If you've got any queries, contact me. Good luck, guys. See you later.